See, Jason, to some extent, this may be true about aesthetics. However, if you're using compost or tree trimmings and the material is applied correctly, this can make a huge, huge difference in some of the troubles in the rhizosphere. I would go to the dictionary and look up Shigo stuff in our dictionary at www.treedictionary.com. Tree dictionary is one word. And under Shigo stuff, under his articles, troubles in the rhizosphere. I do agree, however, that this gradation of mulch does not facilitate the response that you would have with large wood materials. See, mulch comes, what I'm trying to say is that mulch comes in many gradations. And when you start getting 2 foot in diameter by 4 foot long logs with soil contact, they begin to take on the form of a sponge. There's many documents publishing the benefits of fallen trees. Chris Mazer and Trappy are, say, 2 to start with. If you go to the Tree Dictionary and enter and scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll see hard to get documents, which is in there, or you can do a Google search for one document titled The Seen and Unseen World of the Fallen Tree by Chris Mazer and Trappy, Trappee. Also, another document published by the U.S. Forest Service is From the Forest to the Seas, A Story of Fallen Trees. You can also do a Google search and find that one. And there's plenty more which I have on hand if you'd like me to send them to you, the benefits. I know of no benefits of cutting the wood out of an ecosystem containing trees. And when people provide data, they say, here's the data, we're going to thin out the woods or clean them up. I just say, show me in that piece of paper where it suggests what you're saying that it does. And as of yet, it hasn't said it. Nobody could show me. But then they claim to see things. And I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. Could you tell me how bark forms? Of course, they got angry, but they could not. So, beware of so-called tree experts that do not understand tree biology. Anatomy must precede physiology. Anatomy is the parts. Physiology is a highly ordered movement of those parts, the processes, the movement. Well, how are you going to understand the movement of parts if you don't know what the parts are? Large wood will take on the form of a sponge. In 1999, we were working at Mother Earth Organic Mushrooms, and it was so dry in Pennsylvania. We went through 10 years of droughts. The carpenter ants came out of the walnut tree I was working in and was going up and down my left arm after my perspiration. We then went to the old growth, Cook State Park Forest, and Dale Luthringer, a naturalist for the state, reached over and said, John, look at this. He picked up a little cube of decomposing wood or decay and he squeezed it, and a steady stream of water went from his fingers to the ground. That wood in place, no. Logs, some people do not think are very aesthetic in their lawns in the front of their house. But let me tell you something, as far as the health of the trees go and the other associates, you can't beat it for water during dry times. My wife and I were known as the bloodhounds for mycorrhizae during the last tree biology workshops in New Hampshire with Dr. Alex Olshak. Why? Because the students from around the world would go out, and if you see this, you know who you are. They would go out into the woods up in Portsmouth where the woods have been cleaned out, and they went to dig non-woody absorbing roots after a drought in the summer, and they found nothing. No absorbing roots, no mycorrhizae, no root hairs for the microscopes. it was a tragedy. Because they were at these workshops to get the basic parts of the tree and touch them, identify them, and have the professor verify that they were seeing what they were supposed to be seeing. And they would take these tools and techniques back to their own countries, and they would have a foundation to answer their own questions. There was no non-woody absorbing roots, therefore no mycorrhizae, no root hairs, no rhizosphere. My wife and I would come back with bags full because we knew where there was one fallen tree on the property. And it had taken on the form of a sponge. Now, mulch can be very, very beneficial. Fine gradations of mulch, they're going to dry out first. And the non-woody roots that grow up into that mulch, if it's more than 4 inches thick, are going to die prematurely. And the abscission zone that forms, all these words are in my dictionary, treedictionary.com. The abscission zones that form will not form because of the premature death due to the dryness during drought. That's in your fine gradations. But not in a nurse log, a large 2 foot by 4 foot or larger piece of wood. It starts to take on the form of a sponge. Chris Mazur outlines these decomposition stages. Trees continue to function when they're symplastic, when they no longer produce leaves, until they become completely incorporated into the soil with just residual lignin remaining. So let's talk about it. You want to talk about mulch and the benefits? But there again, I agree, the aesthetic part, but we take, I'll put a picture up soon or something, I don't know. Look at my dictionary under Eco Art Nurse Logs. You can take and plant flowers in these logs if you're good with a chainsaw. Beware, very dangerous work. Plant flowers in them for aesthetics. People don't like the way they look. But people cannot do what they do to help trees, and trees suffer because they can't, and they remove this wood. Troubles in the rhizosphere. Hey, if there's no large wood during drought with soil contact, there may be no rhizosphere to have troubles in. And if you don't think that's a problem, then you're in the wrong business. Thank you, and if there's anything, best bet still is to go buy the book Modern Arboriculture by Dr. Shigo and just follow those basic recommendations. But add nurse logs into the picture. Start bringing nurse logs, eco art nurse logs into the landscaping for these trees. And stop cutting the wood out of the forest in the name of forest preservation and protection. Stop being idiots and wasting money and destroying the ecosystems. Thank you.